Mark Ryan and Mr. Zach McGowan.
Is this for me? Oh, hello!
This is how we're doing it. Standing up.
Be involved with this. Why did you wait until we were both dead to go direct an episode?
Because you guys need to know that you were killed in the third season, right? You guys do a second season? The third season?
Yeah.
The first season?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I directed an episode in the fourth season. So we never really met on the set, right?
No, we didn't.
But the thing is, I had to wait because, funny enough, I showed the producers of the Black Sails and the showrunners. They saw my Dutch movie Michiel de Ruyter, and they were very impressed. They asked me to come in, and they asked me all the secrets, how I did all the visual effects and all the action of the movie. So I told them everything, and in return they gave me an episode. So that's how I got an episode from Black Sails.
We weren't feeling paranoid or anything, you know what I mean? We just, obviously, you didn't want to work with us, that was what we were feeling.
I'd love to work with you.
Yeah, we were joking backstage how he'd been doing the Death Race movies while I'd been doing Black Sails, and how when he moved on to Black Sails, I was playing the lead in the most recent Death Race movie with a friend of his who was directing it. So we've been kind of in the same circles, but never been able to actually connect on set.
And I must remember them because when I heard about that, because they asked me to do Death Race 4, but I could not do it because I was doing Black Sails. But then I heard that you played the lead. I was like, fuck, because I really wanted to work with you. It was a bummer.
We follow each other on social media, but yesterday we met for the first time. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the world of these movies and whatnot. You kind of see people who you either work with, or people who you know one day maybe you'll work with, or you're going to be in the same spot. So, I mean, I think Black Sails is special for all of us for different reasons and on different seasons. I mean, I did 3 of them, and for me that was one of the most special experiences I ever had as an actor to get to play a role like that in a series like that, which is kind of done at the highest level and really, I mean, as he can speak to, one of the hardest things about that show was just the scope at which it was told in, and I think people like you did that, and then people like us brought kind of our characters to it, and all that is what you see on that. It's such a big kind of crew that makes that really live.
And what did you do to get into your character for Black Sails? Was there something you've used, you read, you were training? How did you get into that?
Yeah, I mean, that's all. Acting is a crazy thing. I mean, I think I found Vane through, personally, I realized that it wasn't a world that I knew, in the sense of, I don't live in a world where I experience that kind of danger and that on a regular basis. So to be honest, the way I found it was vocally, and then I figured out that he was a lion, and I started playing a lion, and it started working.
Eating 3 steaks every meal.
Yeah.
He ate 3 steaks every meal.
Yeah, I did. I still do. No, it's I mean, that was really it. I kind of found him in the stillness and in the animals of it, and then couldn't believe they were just letting me continue to do what I was doing. It's like, everyone buying this? Cool.
You did really well. I really liked your character. And you, how did you were working to get into your character? You did training, reading. You watched a lot of pirate movies.
Well, I've been in my career. I've been a merry man, a knight at the round table. I've been several giant alien robots, and then I ended up being a pirate. And I got this call from Michael Bay's office as we just finished the 3rd film about going in to see stars, and for lots of various reasons it didn't work out. We were doing a book tour, and finally they called me up and said, "You got to go and meet John." And so I went, okay, I went in to meet John, and we were talking about the series, and John actually said, he said, so what do you know about this character and the role of the quartermaster? I said, well, I've not only I understand the role, I said I've lived that role. I was a non-commissioned officer in the British Army, and I actually worked on ships a lot with the UK Special Forces. So I've actually been in a situation where the guys on the boat, I've worn one beret, and then when I wanted to do something else, they wanted me to go and see the captain of the boat or something, I took that beret off, put another beret on, and went to see the captain's person. So that idea of being with the guys on the ground, and being involved with that and having their trust, but also being able to talk to the powers that be upstairs, that was a role I'd actually lived. And so we talked about that, and he was like, okay, that's probably all the training you're ever going to need for this. So it was great, it was great fun. Great character.
That's cool.
Oh, Mr. Gates would have been running a very dodgy bar, probably somewhere, maybe in Utrecht even, who knows? You know what I mean, maybe Rotterdam? I don't know, somewhere. He'd be running a very dodgy little bar on his own. There'd probably be some interesting dancers and some interesting alcohol, I would think. Yeah, I think that's what Mr. Gates would have done. It was a shame he didn't come back as a coach. It was kind of discussed at one point. Chatted how they would bring him back in, what we were going to do with it, and for various reasons it didn't work out. But no, I think Mr. Gates would have been quite a happy chap. Running a little dodgy place somewhere quietly, pool hall, maybe, something like that.
Yeah, the entire time I was playing Charles, I kind of had this like dream that his dream was kind of to just get shipwrecked alone on an island and just to be away from all the bullshit and the people who say one thing but do another. And I guess there's also a part of me that feels that way. So yeah, I feel like he didn't die. He probably would have hoped to just end up washed up on a little spot where there's some coconuts and some fish to go spear fishing for on the reef over there. You know, something simple like that. I don't fight unless I have to or for money. So I'd love to come check it out.
But the sad thing is they wouldn't let me fight. I'm apparently now past the age where the insurance company thinks it's safe. And a lot of stunt guys, this is absolutely true, the stunt guys were saying, you're the guy that choreographed King Arthur and did First Night with Bob Anderson. I said, sure, so I go and just work out just for the hell of it with the Saw guys. And eventually I got a message downstairs and they said, we can't let you do this anymore. I said, why? They said, because upstairs he's worried about you having a heart attack or something. And I went, what? And they said, oh, so I used to sneak him. And eventually one of the stunt guys, in fact one of the producers came to me and said, we don't want you doing this, they're worried about you having a heart attack and dying or something. So I was like, okay. But they wouldn't let me actually even train with the sword guys, which is bizarre. I've spent my life with the sword guys.
It's never too late. We actually have some 60-year-old members, so it's never too late.
Apparently everything's still working, that's my wife.
Yes, but you know, I'm sure if there's time, I'm sure we'll all stop by. It's right over there.
Yep,
We'll come check it out.
Yep.
Looks like you got some nice long swords.
Absolutely.
Skinny ones.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
So seriously, what did you think? I mean, you came in later on. How, for a director, during the first season, there's a lot of working out of what we were, where we were, what the tone of the show was. So there's a lot of hands-on control. What about for you when you came in as a director? Were you allowed just to sort of get on with it the way that you wanted to?
Yes, and Stars really, and John and the showrunners, they really wanted me to do my version of it and bring my own kind of creativity. And when I arrived, I saw all the episodes from all the seasons. So then when I saw these sets, and you guys need to realize, in the middle of nowhere in South Africa, they built this amazing set. They built this whole village with a beach, with an ocean, with all the interiors. They built 5 ships, they had water tanks. It was an insanity. You know, when I was doing Michiel de Ruyter, I was only dreaming of such a thing, and then I was there, this massive thing. But when I saw all these episodes, I realized there were a lot of angles in the sets that were never used. So I started from day one showing the showrunners and everybody else, I want to shoot this angle, I want to put a boat here and do this, and everybody was like, that's an interesting idea. So my episode really looks kind of different than all the other episodes because I approach it from really different angles and different ways. But I remember that I had the scene where I have to kill Blackbeard, where we did the Kielhaal, and that was my episode. And when I read it, I was like, oh, that's very cool. And it was only a 5-page scene, and when I was finished, it was a 17-minute sequence. And when the studio was finished, they cut out another 2 minutes, but in the end, it was 14 minutes of killing Blackbird. And I'm very proud of that sequence.
How did you get on with Ray? Because I've worked with Ray on King Arthur. He was out Dagenham in King Arthur. How did you get on with Big Ray?
Ray was cool.
And of course, Ray he wore all the beards and stuff, so he really that I think pissed him off the most.
Yeah, no, and when I did you guys see the scene where I killed him, where I killed Blackbird? So he had all these prosthetics on, and he wanted to do it himself. And I was this one shot I want to do. He had to be in prosthetic for like 8 hours to do a shot of his eye, which was really cool, by the way.
Yeah, the shot was great. I thought the kind of using the hood and then slowly ripping it and revealing what was inside and the terror that was going on inside that bag was so powerful. I think that's another thing too. With the exception, I think, of, I guess maybe nearly Vane's death and his death, you don't really see the English and how they, exact their revenge on these guys and what they do, and just the extreme terror of it. And I think one of the greatest aspects of the show is they're always talking about what civilization is, and being civilized versus these savages who are the pirates, and to see kind of the way they do death. The civilized way versus the savage way, and kind of letting the audience look at that and see that there really is no civilized way to kind of do that.
Yeah, I agree. And you didn't see that rawness in any other TV show yet. That was really unique about it. Agree. Do we have somebody there with a question? Come on, guys.
No questions.
Don't be so Dutch. Get to the microphone.
Go eens of not?
Well, I guess, the show does really answer all of the questions for itself. It doesn't, it's so good now.
Yes, it does. Yes, there's somebody walking. Go for it.
What I wanted to really wanted to do
We have one,
question. We have a question already.
Hi guys. I was just wondering, what was your favourite scene together that you obviously had? Obviously, in the short time you both had on the series, what was your favourite scenes together? Not that you have many, unfortunately.
I think the nice scene we liked was when we were sitting around negotiating. But the problem was at that juncture, they were still trying to work out how to shoot the show. So we were trying to negotiate our way through the dialogue and all that kind of stuff. So we were kind of under a bit of pressure. We were still trying to work it out. So as much as I enjoyed the scene, if we'd have done scenes later together, we'd have been much more anchored in where we were as characters and what our relationships were. So that was a bit of a missed opportunity. I'd love to have done more scenes with you.
Well, I think that's one of the things maybe that speaks to something that kind of people know. When a television show starts, it's very different than when a television show's cranking and working. So we actually shot episode 3, which that was episode 3, season 1. That was the first episode we shot, and that was actually one of the first days of shooting. And that was when you have a new director working together with new writers, working together with a new studio, with a new network, with a new production company, with actors who all just met each other. And so I was sitting back, smoking a cigar and rolling
Chill. He was chill.
a coin on my hand, watching the madness unfold in front of me. People are fighting, there's ego things going on, there's all of this, and all that I keep getting is people asking me to put my cigar out and me saying nothing and just refusing to put it out. And I think those things actually all kind of play in the scene because it was like the reality of the actual scene and the reality of what was occurring, because you had a lot of opinions being presented through like in the show, right? It's like the whole crew is being presented through your perspective, and the whole Ranger crew is being, going through Rackham's perspective, and that was like what was going on set, and I was just kind of watching and being like,
with your coin.
Yeah, when I was just like, when do I get to be a pirate?
Thank you so much.
And FaceTime, those things I think are probably lifesavers these days for most people who work in our industry and spend a lot of time traveling. Those things become very important in life. But yeah, it's part of the circus lifestyle that is, the film industry, TV, even these cons. It's just part of the lifestyle. When you're home, you're spending a great time you can. Sometimes you're lucky enough, like I'm lucky enough to bring my family with me. Actually, season 2 of Black Sails, they were there for the almost the majority of it, which was really probably some of the best times in my life. But yeah, it's a tough aspect of the industry, and to be honest, I think had Black Sails been shot anywhere but South Africa, it probably ran a lot more seasons than it did. I think for a lot of the people on it, including writers, producers, directors, actors, the distance was very difficult, and that is a factor in these things.
I mean, the nature of the business has changed. I've been in Los Angeles now for 20 years, and so the last 10 years probably, the chances that you actually get a job in LA, but you actually shoot in LA, have got smaller and smaller and smaller. So you will go wherever the circus, just as Zach said, goes. And you get used to it, you have to adjust to it, and like you said, Skype and all that kind of stuff just becomes a part of your life. But the flip side of that coin is, when somebody calls up and goes, would you like to spend 6 months in Cape Town? You go, yes, thank you. And you go, and Cape Town was a rocking place.
Beautiful.
Beautiful place to live and to
You
work.
get to see a lot of the world, of course.
Yeah, you get to do some wacky things. I drove up to Betty's Bay, where the big penguin colony is, and sat at the penguins, literally penguins sitting around you. And the funny thing is, they're very social. So if you walk down to the edge of the water, they will walk down with you, and they're looking at you going, you're going to get in, you're going to get some go for a swim. So there's that kind of experience that you never forget. So Cape Town was an amazing adventure. It's just part of the business. You go where they're making the movies.
Yeah, it's actually funny. I was just back down in Cape Town doing a movie for Universal, working with a lot of the Black Sails crew down there, and I was at the Penguin Beach again, and and just seeing all the places again. I mean, it's really a special place, South Africa. It's gorgeous, especially that area. So we're all very blessed.
That mountain, I don't know how you felt about that, but Tabletop Mountain has got the weirdest energy. I've never come across a mountain that's got an actual presence. There's something about it, I don't know what it is. I used to sit there and watch the clouds, what they call the tablecloth clouds, rolling over the top of that. And I'd sit in a restaurant on the harbour wall and just watch that. And then sometimes they lit it up, remember they lit it up? And it would have different colours, and the clouds would roll over the top. It was fantastic, but it had a very strong, very powerful presence, that mountain. It's a very mystical experience.
You're actually getting me jealous.
You getting what, sorry?
I'm getting jealous.
Steady on now.
No, there was a time where I actually wanted to be an actress myself, and I actually honestly to go to work that way. But I got chronically ill, and I couldn't keep it up. So I actually love acting, and I love your job. The more you talk about it, the more I just smile. So that's great. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Hi. I watched Black Sails with a group of my friends, and Zach, we had a nickname for you. Please take this as a compliment. The duo Mr. Broody.
What was that, Mr. What?
Mr. Broody.
Yes.
Broody.
And we were constantly wondering how you can play Broody so well with keeping it serious and not getting comical with it.
Well, I think that last story I just told about what was going on around me in that scene would maybe have spoken to that a little bit. I don't know. He just was a character who I think I understood, and I've been waiting to play those types of characters for a while. And I mean, and when I say those types, those kind of more archetypal kind of characters, and you know, maybe one of the reasons I got into acting is because I fell in love with you know, certain types of characters that I maybe saw or hoped that I could do, or I hoped pieces of them were a part of me. So I think immediately I kind of started to understand that he was, you know, he was just kind of the kind of person who was sick of all the things that people talk about and yak about and don't actually do, like the people who say one thing and do another. I think that was kind of something that just always went through my mind. He felt like everyone was lying while they were speaking, so that's, you know, that was where that kind of came from. That there was only very few, you know, people that he spoke to in any kind of honest way, because he felt that, you know, everyone was just doing that. So I don't know necessarily why, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and I've gotten a chance to play those kind of characters since then. And I mean, it's just really fun, and I hope to do it more and more.
Thank you so much. Has many LGBT characters, which unfortunately is still very rare and very revolutionary, apparently. Was this something you were aware of when you first started doing this show?
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of right off the bat in the show, there was multiple different kinds of relationships that were being presented, and I think that clearly the writers knew that in that day and age that you know, things were far less accepted, so that those kind of people were forced to the margins of society, and that show was mostly about people who society had failed and had been forced to go live somewhere else. The only place that these people could be and feel free in any way was in this, you know, separatist movement that happened in an island, you know, down there. So I think that was, everyone was very aware of that, and that was, you know, something that was going to be explored in the show. And regardless of how many times I pitched it, they wouldn't let me kiss Toby Schmitz, but you know, I don't know why.
But he tried. He did try. I saw that myself.
Thank you. Hello. Did you guys learn any Dutch on set?
Well, like, I mean, the Afrikaans version of Dutch, and mostly only curse words.
Lekker, lekker. Lekker, lekker bruid. And you have me the bride boy. You coming in for the bride. South Africa is very clipped and very straight. The reason I was looking to go back was because I'd been to Africa in the 70s, in the mid-70s, when it was a very different place. And that wasn't South Africa, that was in Central Africa. We used to come across South Africans all the time. So I used to try and direct the accent, you know, because they're talking like this all the time. Ah boy, what you want to do? Are you gonna come now for a drink? So they clip like this. It's very different accent to do. But now I actually spend half my life here in the Netherlands. I realise how close that is. When I'm listening to people talking about in my brain, I'm still going, lekker, come on, we've got it for the point, let's go. So even when I'm trying to translate stuff, I still hear kind of the Afrikaans.
Yeah, it's kind of a Dutch-English mix-up.
Yeah, the strange thing about Cape Town is that when you go to a street, the streets are called Prinsengracht and the Nieuwe Markt and the Postkantoor. So you see all these Dutch words that are the streets here in Amsterdam, you have them there in Cape Town. It's very strange.
Thank you.
And we have Mr. De Groot who was Dutch, wasn't it? Wasn't De Groot who was the...
The Groot, yes.
Mr. Groot, he was Dutch.
Hi, so how does it feel? How does it feel to look back at your own scenes that you just shot? So that you see what it's become of it?
Yeah, I mean, personally, normally, I mean, depending on the character I'm playing and depending on the project, sometimes I can have a lot of fun watching myself, or sometimes I can absolutely hate it. It all depends on a lot of factors, and mostly probably how my performance is resonating with myself, and if I think I look good or bad, most likely, as an actor, you're probably like, oh, so. But in that show specifically, in Black Sails, I've actually never had the kind of experience watching something back as I had with that show, meaning that like I kind of like fan. I don't understand why he's so awesome to watch. Like normally I don't have that experience where I'm like, oh god, I can't watch this, but like sometimes like I watch Black Sails and like actually really love what I'm seeing, and that's rare for an actor. I mean, and so I think all of us are very proud of that show and proud of the work we've done on it. I mean, across the board, most people who worked on it, that's a similar experience. So I really like it, but most of the time, I don't really watch that much of my stuff, and that one, I've actually seen that whole series through like multiple times, and I probably haven't watched any series through multiple times. So, yeah.
It's a funny thing watching yourself, it is. And when I first started out, a long time ago, I actually couldn't, I always was very self-conscious, and then as you get more into it, people you talk to, teachers and people who have a lot of experience, one of the ways that you have to learn what works for you on screen, in particular, not on stage or on screen, is to study what you do and look at the way that you interact with the camera. And I was very lucky to have got some great advice from Sir Anthony Hopkins many years ago, which really kind of changed my career, my attitude to the whole thing. And when I watched some of this, when I watched Black Sails, there's some scenes I am actually totally aware that I'm acting. And I can look at it and go, ooh, could have done that differently. But there's other scenes, because I was very lucky to have got some really nice dialogue, where some of the speeches, particularly the one about the ocean, about there's no monuments in his life, I look back and go, yeah, I couldn't have said that in a more sincere way. I actually meant what I was saying. It came out of my head in a very naturalistic way. It was a beautifully written speech. So I feel that I was very well served by the show. But you have to study what you do. Sometimes you look at it and go, oh, right, what you say. Yeah, what was I thinking? You know what I mean? And it's all about choices. It's about choices on the set during that moment. And if you are comfortable and you're into the character, like you guys got 3 seasons to get into the characters. In the first one, we were still trying to find out the dynamics of where everybody was. So we were still trying to work that part out. And some of the scenes I looked at them, I made a different choice there. But for the most part, I have to say, I like the character, which is, I play characters that I don't like, and go, well, you did the best that you did that you could. But I like Gage as a character, so looking back on it, it was like, I was well served by some of the writing. For me, personally, I like the little intimate scenes with Toby. Toby is probably one of the best actors and underrated actors at the moment, Stevens, that I've ever worked with. He is so into it, isn't he? He's so gone into that, and yet he's got that thing. We laughed from getting there the first thing in the morning and sitting in the chairs. We did the typical British actor thing where we literally started bitching at each other from the moment we got there to the end of shooting the day. And some days we got hysterical and we couldn't actually do that because we were laughing so much. And then, what was the name of the first AD that then became the producer? Paul. He would come on and he'd go, and we'd start laughing, and he would go, is this a 2-minute break, or a 4-minute break, or how long do you need to go? I'd go, 4 minutes. And we would laugh, and we had a lot of fun, and I'm sure that upset a lot of people, but we had a lot of fun. That relationship between those two characters was born of that understanding of the same sense of humour. So all those intimate scenes with Toby, I enjoyed tremendously. They were fun to play, and they're fun to be in that sense of humor. So
yeah, and for me, there's so many fond memories from that show. But probably the two places where you saw most of the true Charles and less of the masked Charles was when I was doing my scenes with Alana, Hannah, and then also with Toby Schmitz. And then later in the season, later in the series with Stevens as well. But I think in those moments where I didn't have to wear the mask of Charles when the kind of the softer side of him was out, I think those were the funnier and more fun moments because he was a pretty intense dude when his guard was up. So it was fun either way. But I think some of the most fun were in those moments.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, I haven't watched it, but my sister wants to know. And a follow-up question, why should I watch the complete show of Black Sails?
Why should you watch the whole show?
Yeah, and what did you think of the end of the show?
Well, I thought the end of the show was really cool because, it doesn't provide you with a distinct answer. It kind of leaves you in a place where you have to choose whether someone's telling a story that's real or someone's telling someone what they want to hear. And isn't that like what we all deal with in life anyway? Isn't that what a lot of us deal with the leaders that we have and all those things? So I think in that way, it was a great story and it left you deciding for yourself. There's actually some cool articles written about like what you think happened there says more about you than it says about other people. Like, to me, I can tell you what I think happened, but it doesn't really matter because it's up to to anyone else. So I think it's a really cool ending, and that's what I think about it. As far as why you should watch the whole series, I'm not a marketer, so you shouldn't. But if you don't, then you're just not watching something that's awesome. So I think it's awesome. So that's why you should watch it.
What about you guys?
I have to confess to say I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet. I've been working the last couple of years, so I kind of missed it. But why don't you tell me what you think?
I have no thoughts on it. I think I saw a trailer once about Black Sails and I thought it looked pretty cool with all the ships going and the fights, but I haven't seen one single episode, so I can't really tell you about my thoughts on it.
I think what is cool about TV, and especially in Black Sails, is that you are able to watch 50 hours of characters. So you go and invest 50 hours of time to dive in this world and dive in this character, and then you can get on such a deeper level with their emotional caring for them and a diversity of characters that you don't have in the satisfaction when you watch a movie for 90 minutes. So that's what I like about television, and I think that Black Sails was so intense, emotionally intense. Yes, there was action and there was like cool shit, but it was really emotionally intense about these people at this time in the history that I thought it was such a unique kind of take on it, and I think that would be a reason for you to watch 50 hours of Black Sails, because it will deepen your character for who you are.
Like I said, it's awesome.
Did you see the ending of it?
Yes, I saw the ending. I liked it because it was not a specific hammer on your head, bam, that's the ending. No, it was an ending where you have to think and you have to interpret it for yourself, and then you feel like when it is over you want to see more. You have the behoefte om nog meer te gaan zien. And that was very powerful for the ending.
Nice.
Zach McGowan, Mark Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.